Welcome back to Tech Talks from Commercial Baking. I'm your host, Maddie Lambert. In this episode, sponsored by Buhler, I'm speaking with Billy Stoffel, Director of Customer Service Sales for North America, about proactive solutions for bakery operations. Billy, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Maddie, for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Me too. This is a really interesting topic, and I think it comes at just the right time with the climate that is today's industry. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that needs to be done in order for a bakery to be equipped with proactive solutions. And today we're going to take a deep dive into some of the main areas of focus. We'll start with arguably the most important area in a bakery, the oven. What are the best practices or tools for systematic oven cleaning and performance audits?
Yeah, Maddie. So you hit the nail on the head. The oven is the most important part of baking, obviously, right? Being in this industry for over 8 years, I've seen a lot. Ovens are, you have so many components on the inside, right? Burners, gas, belts, steel bands. And then the idea of the market is it's always that fast, quick, 911 phone call, right? Oh, my line's down, or the oven's broke, or we have high gas pressure. And that's always the reactive approach. Bueller's been doing in this industry for many years. And it's always that dreadful phone call you get at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? That something goes down. So over the past, few years, Bueller's really been pushing that get to that proactive maintenance side, right? Proactive maintenance meaning we want to predict that motor failing or that gas burner going out, right? Or any kind of zone issues. The list goes on and on and on. And that's where we're moving forward to go away from that 911, I like to say, but really push forward to then help support how we predict any of that maintenance that's going to come up so that it avoids that downtime. That's really how we're trying to go.
Absolutely. And when you can predict what is going to happen, obviously that it's crucial for operations because you're right, downtime is so important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's super crucial, right? Because you got some ovens, you have 12 to 15 zones. You always have that recipe functionality. You have different quotas you got to say that you got to hit every day. And we want it to have less, no waste, no downtime. And that's really where Bueller's designing packages and programs to say, hey, this bearing's only got 100 hours on it. We got to get that replaced or timed out. So let's plan 6 months down the road, have that critical component system, as we like to call it, or that red light, green light assessment that says, hey, this is how we're going to monitor, this is how we're going to prevent, and then this is how we're going to say, hey, at 90 hours, it's time to change those bearings and sprockets out, or whatever it might be. And that way it's planned shutdown, right? Because every bakery has a planned shutdown, right? So that's where we want to come in with that as Buhler, and these, instead of just selling you the bits and pieces, as I like to say, let's push forward for that package, right? I like to quote unquote call it the oil change, right? So that's really how Bueller's kind of modernizing and changing for the destination that we're going over the next few years.
That's a really interesting way to look at it too. So, how can bakers use data-driven maintenance to help achieve a proactive mindset?
So data is crucial, all right? We live in the world of AI today. You can run crackers, cookies all day, any type of product and do manual counts, hand packs, things like that. But if you're recording the data, imagine having the data of your oven or your waffle oven or your cracker line in the palm of your hand that showed you exactly how many crackers you're producing, how many cookies you're producing per hour. Hey, this motor's overheating, or hey, temperature all of a sudden spiked in a zone. Having that data on hand helps the baker then predict the future, right? Hey, I have a brown spot in crackers or a darkening side or a quality issue. If we can catch that on the forefront using data analysis, meaning either that's outputs, inputs, downtime hours, which we want to avoid. Hey, all of a sudden the depositor stopped, right? Bueller really focuses heavily on data collection, right? And then we as experts help the baker study that data. And programs like Buhler Insights or ProPlant, right, is really just putting all that data in the palm of your hand. It really drives the focus to then say, how can we become more efficient, right? Data really is how the market is turning versus just being, hey, I'm baking bread or cookies and I'm making 100 and some thousand pounds a day. Now, predictively with Bueller's programs, you can take that data and we can help you get better in the future.
I'm curious, what role do digital dashboards play in this space when you're looking at data-driven maintenance?
We mentioned earlier Buhler Insights and having a data dashboard. If I was running 5 ovens and baking 6 different cookies, right? If I could see in the palm of my hand how that dashboard and how every line is running efficiently, I could tell you first, second, third shift who's the best, right? But having that dashboard quickly and feasibly, and whether it's computer, iPad, whatever, it paints you a picture and allows you to be more efficient in your workforce. Because if you're sitting at your desk and you got to walk to the line, hey, I got a problem. If you had that in the dashboard and it's showing you in your phone or iPad, imagine how more efficient you could be if the system's telling you what's happening versus you going to look and see what's happening. So they're very crucial in today's market.
Okay, we talked about downtime. So I want to talk about how service agreements and preventative maintenance reduce costs and downtime for operators. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So Bueller is really pushing forward in the customer service industry as being the innovation leader when it comes to service agreements, right? We have base packages when it comes to that service agreement, and we also have, customized systems to basically make you efficient. Kind of goes back from that reactive, hey, this broke down, hey, I need Christmas shutdown time, whatever it might be. The service agreements that Bueller offers is really plans out your whole process, your whole maintenance. We have stocking programs where we can put all those crucial parts into our inventory. You can have all your maintenances planned out. Have that emergency shutdown time in that service agreement. Remote care, right? And we talked about having it at your fingertips. There's so many different things that go into that service agreement. It's not just Bueller that's changing its way of selling or servicing our customers. It's also partnering with our bakers and showing them that, hey, this investment from the front side, we can customize it however you want it to be, for payment terms and your OPEX budgets, CapEx budgets. But compare that to, say, every hour you're down for unplanned maintenance is $20,000. Making that an upfront investment to avoid those unplanned maintenances, that's really how you got to compare apples to apples in the way that the market's going today, because it's all about delivery. And that's really why Bueller's focusing on. We want to deliver that impact. We want to be better together. And we really want to push that service agreement, not as just a transactional business, but let's be that true partner, right?
Absolutely. And of course, in addition to costs and downtime, and another common concern for bakers in today's industry is sustainability. You hear this word everywhere. So, how can being proactive support these goals when it comes to energy and efficiency and being sustainable long term?
Bueller's focusing on pushing forward to reduce our internal carbon footprint. Look at the ovens, right? We're all in that industry for the past 30 years. They're used to that coal burning, wood fire, gas exchange, and that's fine. That's an absolute way to go to make to bake product. But Bueller is taking the next step forward and helping, hey, the sustainability side, let's convert from gas to electric. Look at the energy costs that you could save. So Bueller, we just released a fully electric waffle oven just a few months ago. Amazing product, runs on full electricity, quiet. You don't have roaring gas, safety issue concerns come down. But then the biggest thing is it's reducing that carbon footprint. It's really looking at the next 50 years, right? And Bueller really is focusing on that sustainability side with our bakers to say, hey, how can we just do that little bit of impact to reduce that CO2 footprint and move to a more sustainable culture?
Very forward looking too, to make sure it withstands the test of time. Well, I just have one more question for you. What's the best way for a baker to get in touch and learn more about the awesome work Bueller's doing?
The best way to reach out to me is you can email me, feel free to text, call, or follow me on LinkedIn. That's one way to get through to me, or just simply you can email, call, or text.
Well, thank you so much, Billy. This was a really fun conversation. And this is a very interesting topic, too. It's going to give bakers a lot of insight into how to be proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me and for this interview. I think it was great to talk. As you can hopefully see the passion in me to get this going. I love working in the baking industry. And, Bueller is here to support you as we are one of the leaders in the industry. And how I would close this interview out is just to say, you know what? We're all better together. We're in this to win it.
I love that. And so true.
Thank you.